Hello everyone, you're watching Can You See Fish? Welcome back to another episode of Dissecting Sodor. It's been a while since I've done one of these, and for the return of the series we're going to be doing a 2-in-1 special this time round, where we'll be doing both of the loop lines that are featured on the 2014 Sam Wilkinson map. So we're starting off here with the loop line that is, of course, this is one that I'm guessing is meant to be presented in James and the Express, where we hear Gordon talking about being sent round the loop line and being looped back to Knapford. So the loop line actually starts right here at the junction for the Little Western. So obviously after leaving Tidmouth, we then go past the town hall and through Tidmouth town till we reach the junction, which is technically leads back around to the main line. Going along here we have some mountainside for Callendale, and then we actually get to Callendale itself, the station. Now Callendale supposedly, according to the wiki, is the station seen at the start of, I believe, Thomas and Stepney. There is a seaside station that Thomas and Percy are seen. So I guess that this one could technically be here, perhaps, if there's, this is the beach that we're seeing here, this little river inlet that we can see here that's leading out to the sea. Perhaps there is a beach there, and that's the station. So I can definitely see that being the case. Of course, on Audrey's map, Callendale is actually a small town just off Thomas's branch line that doesn't actually have rail connection properly. But yeah, so continuing, we then go over a bridge past the fishing yard. This is seen in, I think, first series 7. This is the bridge that Arthur's seen flying across when he first arrives on Sodor. It's also the bridge where I think Gordon gets wrapped up in the Mayday bunting in Best Dressed Engine. But that's the fishing yard. It makes a couple of different appearances after that as well. We then go through the castellated tunnel here, and this is supposedly the tunnel that Daisy goes through in the episode Bullseyes in Series 4. So that's apparently not Hackenbeck Tunnel. In fairness, Hackenbeck Tunnel does appear differently in that same series, so I think it is probably fair to say that they are kind of different, and this is like technically still connected to Thomas's branch line. So yeah, I can still see that being quite believable. Of course, we now reach Elsbridge, during which we cut across Thomas's branch line. This is, of course, the junction from the main line. So local trains going around here, and even the express that I'm guessing sometimes uses the loop line to return to Knapford or Tidmouth. You will pass through Elsbridge and stop to exchange passengers. Then moving further on, we get to the Sodor Construction Company, or Packard and Company as it's known in Series 6. And this is, of course, where all of Miss Jenny's pack machines, the construction vehicles, all live on here. Continuing further on, we go past a windmill, and further on from that we go to Elizabeth's shed, which is obviously where Elizabeth is found after being left in the shed for so many years following abandonment by the Fat Controller. But Thomas finds her when one of his side rods falls off. We then go to a coal hopper, which is the coal hopper as designated on the map. I think this does appear in the CGI series. I don't know if it's in the classic era, but this is like the coal hopper that's just on the main line. Kind of, well, not the main line, but it's just on a line, not in a station sidings or anything. And it then joins back at Crosby, which is, of course, where Duck crashes into the barbershop. But yes, that's the first of the Sodor loop lines, and that is what's known as the loop line. The other one is called the Mainline Loop, and that one loops all around past Killaban and like by Kirk Road and everything, and we will be exploring that right now. Okay, so here is the second loop line on Sodor. This is the Mainline Loop, which starts here just east of Marin and then runs from East Marin Junction to the Sodor Airport. This is, of course, the location being built in Calling All Engines. It makes a couple of appearances after that. This is where I believe Jeremy is located, primarily. And continuing further down, we get to the repair yard, and I believe that this is the one featured in Gordon Takes a Shortcut from Series 12. There's quite a bit of stuff from Series 12 in this section, because a lot of the locations from Gordon Takes a Shortcut that don't appear again are featured on here. So, continuing further on, we loop around the coastal track to the Sodor Search and Rescue Centre, which is also where the main coastal line coming off of the Brendan branch terminates at the Sodor Search and Rescue Centre alongside the Misty Island Tunnel, which obviously in my head canon is not canon. Misty Island doesn't exist, of course. For many fans, it's just a stupid idea that was brought in and doesn't really serve too much of a purpose. We then continue up along the line, to which we then cross over the river here. It might be the Riag, I'm not sure. But yeah, we cross over the river there and get to Jem Cole's yard. This is the place of residence or place of ownership of one of the island's chief mechanics, Jem Cole. He of course doesn't rescue Trevor. He's Trevor's driver, and he also repairs both Elizabeth in Series 6 and the old saloon coach that Peter Sam finds in Series 7 to be the refreshment lady's tea shop. Just past that, in fact, Jem Cole's yard is actually in the town, but just past that is Killaban. This is where there is an apple orchard, which I think is featured in Big World, Big Adventures. But Killaban is the station that Thomas and Gordon are seen at the start of Thomas and the Magic Railroad. And yeah, it's also featured in a lot of the promotional images for that movie. But that is Killaban. Not much happens here. This is a location from the Audrey's map, but this line does not exist on Audrey's map, so Killaban isn't actually served by a railway, but I suppose there are road routes leading it to Kildane, where there is, of course, quite a big station and built-up area alongside in Cronk. Continuing further on, we get to Sodor Grain Windmill. So there are so many windmills on Sodor, is something that I've noticed throughout this series. This particular one is the one from Thomas and the Magic Railroad that Junior jumps onto. Now, unlike most of the other kind of Magic Railroad stuff, like the magic buffers or the water well or whatever, this is one that I could see being employed on Sodor in real life, similarly to the Big Dipper, I suppose. But yeah, if you remove Thomas and the Magic Railroad from the fact that this is one of the locations from that film that could still be in like a TV map, I suppose, is what I'd call it. Because, I mean, obviously this is the 2014 map we're working with here, which is just a collection of everything thrown in. And I suppose that the point of these videos is really to bring more clarity to stuff like this that might not be so obvious. Continuing further, we get to the abandoned mines from Percy and the Haunted Mine, where obviously these crash into the ground, I believe. And this is also the forest, I believe, from Flower Power that Diesel kind of spooks Thomas in. And in conjunction with that episode, Flower Power, it is further on that we get to Sodor Flour Mills. Now, this is not the flour mill that's like seen in Horrid Lorry and Thomas Percy and Old Slow Coach, and then later on in, I want to say that it's Edward the Great, but it's one of the new series Edward episodes it's seen in. This is not that one. This is another one. This is more like a factory mill rather than being kind of a more quaint little, more traditional, maybe Tudor style mill. But moving further on, we get to the Maritime Museum, and just past that is Cabelnew. This is the station that Gordon, I think, stops at in, once again, Gordon takes a shortcut. It's kind of a small station with a town next to it, with some built-up walls and a bridge over the rails. But I don't know why I'm explaining this. You're going to see the picture. But yes, that's Cabelnew. And continuing back round, we then get a crossover the Kirk Ronan branch line, or an extension of the Kirk Ronan branch, which then loops back round and reaches the Whispering Woods and the Whispering Woods halt on the main line. And that is the end of the Mainline Loop, which is kind of like a separate line to include some more of those more obscure locations that wouldn't really fit anywhere else. I actually think it's a pretty good idea, to be perfectly honest, including these extra lines. Obviously, it does feel like a lot of stuff has just been thrown on here, but you do find that there is some conjunction between things, such as how both the abandoned mines and Sodor Flour Mills are featured on here in that general spooky area, or how perhaps Sodor Grain Windmill is of relation to Sodor Flour Mills, perhaps it's owned, and obviously Killaban and Cabelnew are places on Audrey's map. So, this has been another episode of Dissecting Sodor. If you've enjoyed it, don't forget to like it and subscribe for more content later. I want to give a quick shout out to Oliver the Train Guy, who made this wonderful fan art of my character 16 with the top hat that you're seeing right now on the screen. So thanks so much. He's been a big supporter of the channel, and I'm very glad to have that kind of support And the new outro that you're going to be seeing in just a minute is also by Oliver the Train Guy. So massive thanks for that. I think it's really good, much better than my old outro, which I think it's finally got to the point where it needs to be phased out. It doesn't fit with the channel anymore. Obviously, it's quite low res and, well, very low res. But yeah, so that's that. So thanks so much, Oliver. You really made me happy with this. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. Until next time, goodbye.